Complete the table of values below and plot the graphs on the axes that we're given. So if x is -5, 2 divided by -5 is -2/5. If x is -2, 2 divided by -2 is -1. 2 divided by -1 is -2. 2 divided by -1/2 is -4. 2 divided by 1/2 is 4. Then divided by 1 is 2. Divided by 2 is 1. Divided by 5 is 2/5. And -1 divided by -5, that's going to be 1/5. -1 divided by -2, that's going to be +1/2. -1 divided by -1 is, of course, 1. And -1 divided by -1/2 would be 2. And then over here, it should be fairly clear. That's going to be -2, -1, -1/2, and -1/5. So let's do this top one. Let's do that in green. So -5, -2/5, that's going to be right down here. -2, -2/5 would be the other side of the axis, of course. -2, -1 would be just here. -1, -2 would be here. And -1/2, -4 would be here. And so I can see that, because we know the general shape of a hyperbola, we can just follow it through these points, like so. And then we get a 1/2/4, 1, 2, 2, 1, and 5, 2/5. And again, just knowing the shape, we're going to do this. And we should label that one. That is y equals 2/x. Right, let's do the other one in orange. So we get -5, 1/5. -2/2, -1, 1, and -1/2, 2. We know the general shape, so we know it's going to do this, and we know it will go up the asymptote from there. And then in the other half, we've got a 1/2, -2. We've got 1, -1. We've got 2, -1/2. And we've got 5, -1/5. Again, knowing the basic shape, we can draw the graph. And the orange one is y equals -1/x. Measuring from the point where the asymptotes cross, which is just here, show how we can identify a equals 2 and a equals -1 for the two curves. So our first curve is y equals 2/x. Now remember, the general curve that we were looking at was y equals a/x minus b. Now in this particular case, as we'll see shortly, it's just a/x because the b is 0. And so we've got y equals 2/x and y equals negative 1 over x is the same as having negative 1 over x. So in the first case, a should be 2, and in the second case, a should be negative 1. So let's have a look at what happens. If I go 1 unit across here, I have to go 2 units up for the first one. So that does give me the value here. For the second one, I go 1 unit down. So that does give me negative 1.